Welcome, everyone. I have an amazing friend of mine, and she is in India, and I'm going to be interviewing this beautiful young lady, Shruti Aggarwal from India. And I'm sitting here in the Philippines, and we're going to be talking about some amazing things with her life, how her life is transformed since learning the law of assumption and studying Neville Goddard. Shruti, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Robert. Yes. And I'm just sitting here fresh, alive, breathing well. Thank you to this amazing gentleman, Robert. When I was new to Neville, he was someone who was totally curating me, having all the tools to empower me, push me to those deepest of oceans. Go and read, and I'm still there. If you want to come back. So a big applaud to you, Robert, for totally mentoring me in your phenomenal, amazing, fun way, where it was not that I'm sitting with a mentor and he was mentoring me. He was making it so comfortable for me that I did not even know I slipped into loving reading Neville. I
Well, thank
do
you.
not know since 2 years where I have stopped. Which day is it goes by without reading maybe one page or 10 pages? So thank you, Neville. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Neville. Thank you, Father up there, for making it possible for me. Thank you so
Well,
much.
you're quite welcome, and I didn't see that coming. I told you it was going to be spontaneous, and you start right out by uh, this is not about me. This is about you. So, okay, so I appreciate your mentioning that, and it's I think, what was it, about 1 year ago or longer, that when we had our
Longer,
coaching sessions together, and I had the
longer.
privilege of coaching you. How long ago was that?
It is almost
Longer, yeah,
more than
yeah, maybe
18.
close to 2 years ago.
Yes, very well. Almost 18 months to 24 months. Yes. Where everything was, I'm not getting what this man is telling me. I'm not getting. And still, I was persisting to it. I was still persisting to it. It was your resilience in me that I was reading it, whether it was slow. I had the trust and the faith in whatever I was being with this teachings and tools of Neville Goddard. Yeah.
That's absolutely wonderful. And it's interesting that you mentioned that in the beginning, you felt a bit lost. And then by continued studying and meditating and reading and researching and looking up what everything meant, because yes, for many of us, and it might be the case with my YouTube viewers, that many of them, they're new to this whole idea of using your imagination, the power of your imagination. Now, I want to back up a little bit. You started, right away, talking about how I've helped you, and I'm so grateful that I had that privilege. But let's back up a little bit. Now, where are you in India? Tell me a little bit about your home there.
Okay, so I'm in this beautiful place called India, which has this amazing city of joy, which is called Kolkata. Kolkata, named as the city of joy, it is the place of the deity Kali. Also, many people know it as the abode of Kali or the city of joy. It is a center of art, literature, culture. So I'm in this amazing place and
Yes,
love
that's
teaching.
wonderful. Yes, I haven't been to India yet. I've been invited by others also, and I definitely India is on my list of places that I must visit. So let's get to the topic of, you've become, you started out as a student, and now you are a coach, and I understand not only a coach for Neville Goddard as far as helping people learn to manifest, but you also work with healing people, which is amazing. And so I want to know a little bit about how your journey in learning about Neville Goddard, did it start a few years ago? And what was your process in really getting to know and then utilize the law of assumption?
So I would say I just happened to stumble on the teachings of Neville Goddard. And when I stumbled, I was uh, lucky enough to meet some amazing coaches in that huge ocean. And me being a seeker, a student, totally trusted on these coaches, on these mentors. I started reading a lot. I started reading a lot, Robert. And when I stumbled on the teachings of Neville Goddard, I was going through a huge storm in my life and living, where everything was crashing, and the storm and the ocean was really turbulent for me. The only thing which pulled me out was the teachings and tools of Neville and some amazing coaches who had my back, regardless of anything. So that gave me a lot of pulse to come out of that ocean, which was so turbulent, which was so ferocious. I started having hope in me, hope in those teachings. And instead of going down with my emotional crisis, I actually looked upon the teachings and tool and started applying them.
Well, that's wonderful, because I remember I don't want to interrupt you, but I just wanted to highlight some of the things you're talking about. So you really made some tremendous changes in your life. And I remember when we first coached together, you were dealing with some insecurities and fear. And before we had our interview today, I noticed you brought out something interesting that I'd like you to highlight, is that now being a coach, you're meeting people from all over the globe, all over the world, and you're helping people with healing, right? You're helping people with manifesting a better life for themselves. And how did you find yourself overcoming those fears? How did you go from this shy woman who was dealing with some challenges and sought out some coaching? In your journey, now you're a coach, you're helping people from all over the world. How did you transition from being in a fearful state, lacking confidence, to being so confident now and such a really a powerful woman?
The first thing I would add here, Neville Goddard's teacher was Abdullah, who was a black out there in 1900 beginning. And when I read about him, his confidence in himself of being a black and walking on the streets of US, that itself was like, wow, if he can do it way back then, Shruti, you can do it now. Then his confidence in his student, Neville, who had nothing, no livelihood, no money, no support. As a mentor, he had his confidence in his student. So I started seeing myself that Abdullah can have confidence. What is stopping you, Shruti? I started technically researching in on many trillionaires and millionaires across the globe who were not coming from a super secure financial background, who had no strength. And if they had confidence in themselves and now they are a trillionaire and millionaire, I was like, Shruti, where are you not operating from? If they can have it, you can have it. And that is one resilience, that persistence in me. I started breathing it. So everywhere, as I told you, I was going through my fears, my shadow moments, my insecurities. It started fading out. It was just like a facade or like a garment, which the resurrection, which Neville talks about. So it was like that fear was a garment over me, or that insecurity was a garment over me, which I just took it off. In fact, I will add to it. You have to listen to this part, Robert. So last year, I was in this city of Mumbai in India, which is the most hyped city across the world. I was there and I was walking across a mall, which is supposed to be one of the most high-end malls across the world, which has the most premium brands. And the owner of of that mall is the one of the billionaires of India and across the globe also. when you go and read about their background, they were just coming from the roots. And as I was walking across the mall, I was actually telling it to myself, if they can make it, Shruti, you can make it too. And with every step, I was not racing through, I was not in the, not in a state of competition. It was like, wow, it is possible. You just have to move from here to there. So when Neville talks about shifting states, it was so easy for me in that mall, which was one of the premium mall. For me, it was my first time to gift myself to go and eat in one of those premium eateries in that mall also. I would not before Neville think of doing something crazy like that, Robert. Truly not possible. Sitting in a very premium eatery and treating myself like a queen was truly amazing. Truly amazing. So thanks to
So
these teachings.
that is amazing. Now you really raised yourself from someone who didn't think that they were adequate to someone who was dining with the wealthy, and in that you've seen yourself as being wealthy, as being successful, because we've had private conversations about that. Using your power of your imagination, you have developed yourself. Now, what are some key teachings from Neville? We talked about this in our pre-call about it's done. I love how that's become one of your mantras, that when you have a challenge or you have something you want to manifest, you simply say it's done. It's already done. What are some things that you learned from Neville that brought you to that type of a level of confidence? Again, coming from that shy state, and now you imagine it's done, and you're seeing things happen in your life that are showing your manifestations are coming true.
Through that. Two things which I initially, there are zillions of tools, techniques which is shared by Neville across his books. Now, for a person like me who was new, there are so many things that you may get lost. So, the first thing which I did, Robert, where I started having a coach for myself, I truly believe in that. So I would have coaches for myself. The second thing I would take to the tea, I have, if you see my table has at least 10, 20 notebooks. When I read, I write and make notes. I read and I write, make notes. And as I was reading a lot, the two things which I pulled out was slamming the door, which Abdullah would keep on doing it on Neville's face when Neville would not trust himself. So, any time where I would catch myself that I'm not trusting and going in a doubt, I would just slam the door. So, that became one of my go to tools. And as I was slamming the door, I could see that in the process, my manifestations were just coming. It was speed. So even this year it showed up like this. It was January, first week of January. I was on a vacation with my friends, and I'm a very good person with traveling, with having best deals in traveling. So my friends told me after the travel was getting over, they were just asking me to plan another vacation to Nepal, which is a neighboring country to India. And it was like a no in my universe, and they were wanting it to happen within few months. And in my head I was just nodding, and I was not even answering them. I did not even know that they had already sowed that imagination in me. February 14th or 15th, I get a voucher as a gift from my siblings to Nepal. So the imagination for me sometimes, if somebody is doing for me or if I am doing it for someone, is so much speed, Robert, that it just happens. That I realized when I am most relaxed or I'm most in the state of calmness, where I am not being needy to have that right now. For all the doubts and fears, or to the resistance also, that I've just had a lavish treat for myself, I cannot have the lavish treat immediately the next day. So that kind of even doubt or that kind of lack mindset just went out.
That's perfect. That's amazing. So let me highlight for our viewers a couple of things I noticed you said. One was you were talking about Neville Goddard, the teacher, and how he developed. And one of the things is he had a coach. He believed very much in coaching and mentoring, and his primary mentor was Abdullah. And Abdullah was an amazing black man that at that time, nearly 80 years ago, it was very, very uncommon to see that much confidence and success from someone from that culture. And this really proves that it doesn't matter what cultural background, your nationality, your race, and all of that, is that you can be successful no matter what. And one of the philosophies that he used with Neville was when Neville expressed doubt and fear, he literally told him, "You already have it," and he would slam the door on him. And so our friends in the audience will understand. Slamming the door means you're saying, "No, I don't accept that." You have your manifestation. It's already done. It's already yours. And this is without any evidence. You don't have any proof yet. But that mentality of shutting the door, slamming the door on anything negative that tells you cannot have it, you won't be successful, you're not from that background, you're not wealthy, you're not successful. What makes you think? No, just slam the door on that and simply imagine that you already have it. Now, that is absolutely marvelous. Now, one of the things I wanted to make sure that we highlight is, what would you recommend for some of our viewers who are new to this and developing? What are some of the habits that you have, maybe daily habits when it comes to studying, meditation, and reading, that really have made the difference for you?
So the first thing which I caught myself, Robert, was the inner speech, where I was very good with inner speech. My mind was continuously racing. Now, this racing, the quality of the racing started shifting. So, the quality of racing, I started observing that initially it was not much aligning with my desires. So, in 24 hours, I started observing what is my quality of my inner conversation happening. And if I caught myself that that is not matching adequately to my desire, I started curbing it with greater knowing, not from the space of judging, as he said. I started observing that is it adding to my desire? And it was like, no. So that is the first thing which I started being and doing. The second thing, I love revision also. So the best thing which I started doing before going to sleep, when I'm doing my all my tools and techniques, that is the time, as Neville talks about, revising the day from back to front to the morning, I would hit the art of revision at that time. So if I'm seeing the whole day, I started dividing into 4 different areas: health, wealth, relationship, and awareness. So if I did not have a beautiful day in terms of my health, I would revise it back to from the last till the morning. Similarly, with my finances, if I did not have a very phenomenal day with my finances, I would see that my bank account has just multiplied with the digits I choose to see. With my relationship, starting with myself, if I was not being loving to myself and I was being hard to myself, I actually pampered myself, loved myself, then it would be my immediate loved ones, whoever they are. Even not only to my family, it would be my helpers, my colleagues. I would extend that provision to that part of people also who are creating with me every day. So I would include my helpers, because in India we have a huge number of helpers with whom you deal day to day. That in my business also, my teammates who are always assisting me with my different things, I would revise my relationship with them. These were the few things which I started doing. And I remember Neville talking about that if you You could just maybe furnish it more further, Robert. So, in my way, Neville would say it's a sin if you do not align with your desires, with your knowing. So, I started seeing myself that no, it's a sin if I'm not being that.
I love
So,
that. I love that. Now let's make sure you've got so much to share with me, but I want to make sure no one misses those points. So number one, you talked about your inner speech, right? And what was amazing the way you explained that is Neville highlights this also, is that we want to observe ourselves uncritically. So you would examine your inner speech, and you would relate that to how your mind had been working the previous 24 hours or the previous hours. So you would actually review your day, and that's something that Neville Goddard recommends, is actually you're going to bed. So before that, review your day. Go back through your day all the way to the time when you woke up. So you really review your day, and you can see, in the morning, perhaps my thinking and my inner speech is self-talk. That your self-talk and your inner speech, which is really a reflection of what we're thinking about, what we're conscious of. So you think about that, and you say, this is where I perhaps was not at my best, and my thinking and inner speech was not at its best. You would revise. So the second thing you talked about is revision, how you literally would revise it, and now that takes you into the next day where you're keenly aware of that wrong thinking versus the right thinking, and you would make sure that you keep yourself in the right state, because a lot of people have a problem with that, keeping in their state of mind. And you've done that through observing your inner speech, changing it on the spot, even observing it and changing it when you need to during the day, then going back and review where you could have improved, and then imagine it as being ideal. And by doing that night after night, you've actually transformed yourself. Because when it becomes our habit, and that's what I asked you earlier, is to share your habits. So by having that habits of observing your inner speech and revision and making that a habit, you have literally changed your personality from that shy, fearful young lady with these some definitely having some challenges, to now being a coach. And I understand your coaching has taken you around the world. Now, we only have a few minutes, but I really want you to highlight very briefly your coaching, because you're dealing with both helping people heal, right, and manifestation. So tell us briefly about your coaching and some of your current coaching offerings that you offer to people.
So, as a manifestation coach and as a healer, where it is all about the body anatomy, and I teach many other stuff. Now, as I was sharing with you, I am a global coach. I did not even know that since I was just being in the state naturally, and people from all across the world started connecting with me. There are language problem everywhere, Robert. I have noticed that people coming down from a center of Europe, they do not know English, they know their language, French or Spanish or German, or people coming from Brazil and Mexico, they even just know Spanish. Now, when they were in my classes, the communication was such that they would absorb it. Why it was so natural for me? Because when I learned everything is you pushed out, I was imagining that not before my classes. And trust me, Robert, please, friends, whoever is listening to me, I never did these tools from an agenda to reach out to people. I enjoyed it, I trusted it, and that is why I was living these tools. So when I knew that all everything is you pushed out, and in my imagination, all the clients coming from any part of the world is me pushed out. How do I choose to see them? So everything is done in their life and living, be their health, wealth, relationships, awareness. It's done. So, in my universe, in my imagination, which is God, I would see that, okay, if this X person is coming from Spain, it is done. Whatever that person is coming with, if this person is coming from any part of America, it is done for them. And that was such a ease space for me where my barriers or my fears or my doubts were not there in place when I am there with them in any kind of coaching, consulting, healing. The trust from the clients or my students on me is getting greater every day. So that fear, when I was not holding on to that fear, that reflection was not also there, and vice versa. So everything is you pushed out, helped me reaching to more clients globally with ease.
I love that. I love that. And, really, yes, Neville teaches that. And I believe that too, that we're all connected. We're all from the same source, and we're all connected. And it's amazing. And, I've had clients in 45 countries, and having this global connection. Yes, sometimes there's a language challenge, but because of your spirit, like you said, you don't have an agenda of, just doing your will or what you want to happen, but your will is to help other people manifest what they want to have in their life. And I love, again, your terminology of you would understand their need, and you would just see it as done. And then you're getting all this feedback from your clients. So listen, real quick, we're going to wrap it up, but I want to make sure people know how to get a hold of you. So I'm going to leave the link in the description for your coaching link. And I hope you're okay to get busy soon, because you're going to be getting contacts from who knows where, right? Because you're very international, a global teacher. So tell us about your basically, where can they find you for a coaching link?
So you can always go to truecosmic.com/academy. I am there. You can find me on Neville Goddard Mystic Teachings on Facebook. I am there. I'm Shruti Aggarwal. Contribution by Shruti Aggarwal on Facebook, Instagram. Yes. So
I'm going to post all of that and make sure that they can find you, because not only in India, in the surrounding countries there that are from your background, but also you have connected with me in America and others in Canada and Europe and Mexico and all over the world. We have an international family, and I'll make sure that they have that link for truecosmic.com and your coaching link. Right. And I'll also make sure that they know that they can find you on Neville Goddard Mystic Teachings, which has over 70,000 members and is such a wonderful Facebook location for people to find out how to manifest their best life. And you, as one of our moderators and coaches on that site, are very active. They will be able to find you there also. But I want them to connect with you personally, because some are going to reach out to you for group coaching or for one-on-one coaching. And by having your links, again, you'll be able to find that in my description. You'll be able to have some of that magnificent success that Shruti has experienced. Shruti, share with us just some final encouragement and to our friends, and then we are going to wrap it up. It's been such an honor having you. Any final advice for those watching?
So before we wrap up, I have to thank again Robert and the whole team of True Cosmic. So as a coach, I always imagined, in Neville's word, imagined, coaching and teaching maybe lakhs and millions of people. I was being that space from my own know-hows. Now, when I met Robert and he started introducing to me the teachings of Neville Goddard, he was being that he was being that gift in my universe I was not even aware of at that time. And I was just knowing that he's an amazing mentor in my life. And my imagination of teaching, coaching lakhs and millions across the globe was still on. It was last year, March. Robert calls me and he asked me, would you like to be a moderator with us on True Cosmic and Neville Goddard Mystic Teachings? And I was like, that is one of my imaginations. I did not know where I was not labeling it friends. I just left that imagination open. And when Robert came with it, it was like, yes, that is one of it. And the other day, when as a book read team, so we read books on every Saturday on Neville Goddard Mystic Teachings. And Irene
Yes,
was,
that's marvelous.
yes,
Yeah,
that
because
is
she
fun.
is conducting a book study session that is absolutely amazing, book, which is The Power of Awareness. So, and that's actually free. I know your
That's
your
a
coaching,
that's
of
a
course.
gift.
You
Yes.
charge for your coaching, of course, as you should. But there's a lot of free work that you voluntary work that you do too on the Facebook site, and that book study group is actually a free group. So we'll make sure they have a link to that. Shruti, it's been amazing. I know we could cover so much more. We're going to have to do another interview next time. Okay, but
Thank
it's
you
been
so
absolutely
much.
amazing.
Thank you so
And
much.
friends, don't hesitate to contact Shruti. I'll leave her information in the link. She's a marvelous coach and such a wonderful spirit, and she has come so far. It was a pleasure and honor for me to be a mentor and coach with her. And now she is the coach and mentor for thousands of people around the world. And I'm so proud of you. I couldn't be more proud of you and happy for your success. It's been an honor talking to you. And I'm going to post this soon, and I know many will benefit from it. Thank you so much, Shruti.
Thank you, everyone. Again, please read, write the notes, read. There is zillions of tools and techniques, and a huge shout out go out for coaching. There are brilliant coaches. It truly changes your life. Find out, join him. If you choose to be one of me who was 2 years back, if you would meet me, you would not say this is the same Shruti. So if you are the one who's choosing to change your life in living, this man with me on the screen next to me, go out and see
Well,
your life
you
in living change.
absolutely humble me, and I'm so honored and I'm so privileged. I thank you so much, and I hope life continues. I know it'll be absolutely wonderful. Your future in India, only good things are coming. Is your better is going to become the best, and all of those who you bless, wonderful sessions that you have with other people. It's been a blessing knowing you, and thank you so much for sharing some time with me. And take good care of yourself. I will talk to you, of course, again real soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
I wanted to thank everyone for joining me. I know my video and audio were shaky at times. I appreciate you looking for content and quality and value of message in this case. For me, between the Philippines and India, things were just a little shaky, but the message, what an amazing story. This person, this Shruti, is an amazing coach. Please check her links in my description, and I will talk to you again real soon.